I love having fun. I love having drinks with, everybody. But there's also a balance. And if you really want to go out there and win and be competitive, then you have to put in the time, and you have to be organized, and you have to just, have the right mindset to do it.
Welcome to the Pitmasters podcast. My name is Rusty Monson.
I'm Anthony Lujan.
And today on the podcast, we have Sterling Smith from Luton Booty Barbecue Team and all the things that he does with his sauces and his company. And we're excited to have him on. So let's get to it. All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Just so you guys know, we do have a website up now. It's called thepitmasters.com. You can go there. You can listen to iTunes, Stitcher Radio. We're on, where else are we on?
We're on Google Play.
There you go.
Sorry.
So there you go. Also, guys, follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at the Pitmasters Podcast. And if you guys are so inclined and you like the podcast, drop off any one of those, Facebook, iTunes, whatever. Leave a review, download, subscribe, tell your friends about us, all that fun stuff. So, we also want to make an announcement for all you local Utah people who are looking to get into barbecue. We do have a class coming up in Lehigh, Lehigh Barbecue Pit Stop. We'll be teaching chicken and ribs and how to cook the competition style for those. Just so you guys know, we will have a lot of backyard barbecue cooks coming up. So there are Jesse Johnson's at Big Johnson Barbecue and Great Western events that he does. We'll also be lining some up as well down the road. So there'll be several for you guys to use and, use that class for. So sign up through our website and we'll do that. Anything else you'd like to add, sir?
No, man, I just had a good week. And how about you? I see y'all decked out in Utah Jazz gear here.
I'm always decked out in Utah Jazz gear.
Yeah. What about Donovan Mitchell just putting somebody on the shoulder blades last night?
He always does that. He's my boy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No.
I did a practice cook yesterday with a turkey, and it turned out awesome. Brine is the way to go.
I agree with you, although I've never tried the dry brine on a turkey.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really compare the two, although there are the people who swear by it. So
yeah, I loved it. It turned out awesome.
Nice, man. Well, let's get on with it. Let's bring in Sterling and get talking to him. And let's get right to it. Hey, Sterling, how you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you guys doing?
Doing awesome, man. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Anytime, man. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I always love talking barbecue, man.
Yeah, so let's tell you a little bit about yourself outside of Luton Booty. So who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
Man,
Who's Sterling Smith?
That's a question. I don't even know, man. I'm just some dude trying to cook meat in the parking lot, I mean, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son, a brother. I'm a bunch of different things to different people. I just say I'm who I am. But what I try to be is now as a teacher. I teach a lot of barbecue classes. I used to compete a lot. And I went from doing, 25 comps a year to 25 classes a year. But it seems to be now that I'm more of a teacher than anything, and I enjoy it. I love it, man.
Nice, man.
That's awesome.
So you live down in Arizona. You're not from there, though, right?
No, I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. We moved when I was a baby, so I don't remember much of Memphis. We moved to Seattle, and then we moved quite quickly after that. And mostly I remember being raised in the South, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia. I graduated high school in Georgia, and then I joined the Navy after high school. So originally I was born mostly raised in the South, and then I was in the military in the Navy, and I met this young lady on the beach in San Diego who was born and raised in Arizona. And, after I got out, we decided to pursue our life together, and here we are, man. 25 plus years later, and here in Arizona, and we're still married, and we have 2 awesome kids.
Wow.
Awesome.
So tell me what got you into barbecue?
Yeah. So after I moved to Arizona, my wife Molly was going down to U of A in Tucson, and so I moved in with her, and then eventually we moved up to Phoenix, and I graduated with my finance degree from Arizona State University, and this is the year 2000. And I was working for multiple banks, doing commercial real estate finance, small business banking. Eventually, I worked for UMB Bank, which is United Missouri Bank, based out of Kansas City. And if you know anything about UMB Bank, they are the largest or the biggest supporter of the American Royal Barbecue Championship, the largest competition in the world. So I started working for this bank in 2000, I think it was about 2006, 2007. And every year, this bank has an employee barbecue competition on the grounds of the American Royal. And so they try to get different regions and different departments of the bank to come out and, cook some meat and have a good time. It's a big employee event. They have bands. They have Boulevard Beer come out. So being from Arizona, I was always into sports. I grew up playing football. I wrestled since, the third grade. I wrestled for the All-Navy team. I'm very competitive. And I grew up with, a big family. We always had to do something. And I gravitated towards helping my mom in the kitchen, like cooking. And, I remember the old red and white Betty Crocker cookbook with all her sticky note tabs in it. And I just enjoyed that. I don't know why. I just gravitated towards that. So I've always loved to cook, and I've always been a competitive person. So when this opportunity came up to compete on the grounds of American Royal with a barbecue competition in Kansas City, I was like, yeah, I'll go represent the Arizona team. They wanted each, region. There's banks in Colorado and St. Louis and Kansas City. They wanted a big reflection. And I think there was about 30 different teams from different departments. And, I was always a dude grilling steaks in my backyard over a Weber gasser or whatever I had and, burning some ribs here and there. So I was like, yeah, I'll go out there. I'll see what it's about. Man, and I thought it was some dudes flipping steaks and burgers and wings. And I saw these big smokers and briskets and RVs. And I was like, oh, shit, these guys aren't fucking around. But, I thought it was going to be some, like, dudes with me with some Weber gassers in the backyard. But, no, these guys were legit. And I thought it was the coolest thing. These guys that just hang out all weekend and drink beer together and RV'd it out and, we're like competing in meat. And I was like, oh my God, this is really cool. This was 2007. So I got to see actually the American Royal Barbecue Competition in 2007. I walked around the whole thing when everybody was there and I saw the RVs and every time to me, it was just fascinating. Like people actually did this. It was like it's like walking around the Super Bowl with like meat going on everywhere. And I was just fascinated with it. So when I got home from that experience, I went to Home Depot and I bought a $40 El Cheapo Brinkman. Doesn't even have a temperature gauge. It says hot, cold, and ideal. A bag of mesquite wood and a pork butt on the way home. And I made the worst barbecue I've ever made in my life. It was terrible. The smoke was chugging everywhere. I had lighter fluid going on. I had my wife's parents over to eat some awesome barbecue, and it was shit.
Oh no!
But you know what? I learned from that experience, and I wanted to get better. And eventually, from 2007 to when I started my barbecue team in 2009, that 2 years was just basically cooking, figuring it out. This was before. A lot of people are doing the YouTube stuff and Facebook and social media and classes everywhere. I mean, you've been doing classes, but this is before a lot of that. So, I was just cooking. It was before Barbecue Pitmasters came out. I didn't even know what Barbecue Pitmasters was. I went and saw it like firsthand, and I said, "That's awesome. I want to do it." So I was just cooking. I didn't know anything. Eventually, I Googled like Arizona barbecue and competitions, and I found the Arizona Barbecue Club here in Arizona. And guess what? We're having barbecue competitions and events and all that. So in 2009, I started a barbecue team, and man, it's coming up on 11 years now. It's been a wild ride since then.
That's awesome that you were able to fight for 2 years and try to figure it out on your own. A lot of people would give up after their first two horrible cooks.
Well, this is back in the day before people were serious about barbecue competition. I started this team with a friend of mine as we liked to drink some beer in the backyard and cook some meat on the side. That was what we were doing. It wasn't like the serious competition we were thinking about chasing points or doing any of that. That wasn't even on our mind. What was on our mind was like having a good time, being competitive, and like drinking some beer with each other. I mean, hanging out under a pop-up tent all night and getting wrecked, and like that's what was on our mind back then. That's what we were doing, and we succeeded at it a lot. We got wrecked so many times.
That's, awesome. That's the trial and error stuff. I would do it. I mean, just because I'm perseverant, but a lot of people wouldn't. I think you're right. Right. So kudos to you.
Yeah. Well, it was a different experience back then to us. It was about cooking meat in the parking lot, having fun with your buddies, and it wasn't about points or winning or getting all that. Eventually, it obviously got to that point, but in the beginning, it was just some dudes in the parking lot, like having fun. And if we got some calls, great. And a lot of times we just got drunk and had a great time and ate some food with our friends and family.
So when did it really click for you, going from that, let's just go drink and see what happens? What switched in your head to be like, you know what? Sorry, Bob, but no more drinking. We're going to focus on the brisket today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There comes that time in the competition, like spectrum, when you start to get successful. I think it came down to, I guess, wanting to focus more on the barbecue side instead of the drinking side. Once you get a couple calls and you hear your name called, it becomes addicting. I mean, you want to hear your name called every comp. I mean, eventually it becomes a time where you're like, man, we gotta, if we really want to hear our names called, we gotta focus. We gotta buckle down. We gotta do what we gotta do. There's teams out there, and this is 10 years ago. We're out there seriously, and now it's just hyper focused. But 10 years ago, there were a lot of teams out there that were doing that, chasing points and wanting to win and focusing on it. And we knew if we wanted to continue to get our names called, we had to make a change. We had to focus. We had to educate ourselves. We had to become pit masters instead of bartenders.
Right.
And, I mean, still, and what's funny is my teammate who I started the team with and I no longer compete together. We split about 7 years ago approximately. But I wanted to take it that one step further and be more attention to detail, attention to precision, like make it right. Bring that military training which I have into it and make it organized and make it a process and do what I have to do to win. I love having fun. I love having drinks with everybody, but there's also a balance. And if you really want to go out there and win and be competitive, then you have to put in the time and you have to be organized and you have to just, have the right mindset to do it.
Yeah. So you've gone through 11 years from start to finish. Just so some of our listeners know, where are you stacking up? Like how many RGCs are you running at right now currently?
I'm at 19 GCs and 19 grand champions, 12 reserve grand champions. I won pork at the Jack Daniels, world pork champion at the Jack Daniels in 2016. Chicken world champion at the American Royal in 2014 Invitational. Reserve grand champion in 2014 American Royal Open in 2014. I won lamb twice at the Australian Invitational. And I have 9 perfect 180s, 7 in chicken, 2 in brisket, 3 plus 700 scores in KCBS. And that's over probably a 3 or 4 year span that really I focused on barbecue. And then for the last 2 years, I really focused on building my brand and growing my line of products and teaching classes, really.
That's an awesome resume.
Speaking of classes, I just took your class down in Arizona, and it was awesome. I had a great time. We went down there, stayed in Arizona, hung out. My friends, Trevor Jager from he does the Salt City Drum Smokers up here, and he's on BBQ Competition team. They were down there with me. They went to that one place. What was that? Oh crap!
Little Red.
Little Miss
Barbecue.
Yeah, Little Miss. Yeah.
They went there without me. I got there a little bit late, but man, it was fun hanging out down there. And the class, it was unreal. That place you guys did it at was super cool. The way you guys run it was fun. The food, dude, I told you when I was down there, that was the best brisket I put in my mouth ever. And so it's a good, fun very involved. The whole way you guys have it down there is set up so you can stand up, go around when you're talking, you're doing stuff, taking pictures. You know, you're super open about that. Open up the pits, talking about the pits, talking about the process. It was really fun. So tell us about your classes. I mean, you don't just do competition classes. You did one with Fergalicious too, right? Just recently. What kind of classes do you do?
Yeah, man. The class that you're talking about was a full competition class that I did with my buddy Jerry from Burnin' and Luton Barbecue. Jerry Aguilar from Burnin' and Luton Barbecue out of Corona, California. He's on an amazing streak right now in KCBS. He's just crushing it. I've been friends with Jerry for coming up on 8-9 years now, and his wife Lupe. They're amazing people. This was our second class that we've done together as the West Coast Championship Barbecue class, and this was a full comp class where we give you guys everything. We're going to tell you from our heart and soul, from start to finish, from everything, and you've experienced it, obviously. I mean, we show everything, we tell everything, we leave no question unanswered, and we're going to show you everything we do, and that's what we believe in. That a competition barbecue class should be about, is giving you everything. If you're paying that money and you're entrusting us to give you a guidance of where to be, then man, I'm going to lay it on the line for you every time. And I know Jerry too. That's why we make a great team, because he understands what we both want to do. And so on the competition classes, we really only do that one a year that Jerry and I do together. I've been focusing a lot on the Green Mountain Grill's backyard pitmaster classes, which I did for the last 2 years, 20 to 25 across the world, all over America and into Australia. I was in Australia 3 times this year, competing, cooking, teaching. And in those classes, what we're doing is really focusing on the backyard pitmaster. We're bringing no-goods guys into kind of a glimpse of what we do on the competition side. It's not really hyper-focused on competition where we're trimming everything down and focusing on 6 judges. I'm really focusing on is whoever's taking the class, their family, their friends, whoever they want to feed in their cul-de-sac to get them to be the better cook. That's really what we're focusing on and bringing into those guys and a little glimpse into the competition side. I will talk about competition barbecue and what we put into it and the time, the love, the attention to detail. But a lot of it is really focusing on those backyard guys, because that's really the guys who, you know, are buying a lot of the products that I'm repping and that I have. And that's where we want to go with everything. We're gaining interest into a glimpse of the competition side. And it's cool to be partnered with somebody like Green Mountain Grills, who recognizes that and who supports it and who's out there in the community doing a lot of that kind of stuff, you know?
So you're doing a lot out in Australia with those classes. I see, and you've actually competed out there. What is that looking like, the competition scene out there? I mean, I know there's a couple really big teams that will come over here and do the Royal and others. What is that looking like out in Australia?
Man, it's starting to explode out there. I mean, they're sucking up everything American barbecue. They love a lot of the stuff we're doing out here. And not only me, I've been over there for the last 3 years now, I guess. 2017 is the first time I went over to teach and cook barbecue. But actually, this last time I was there was my 9th time to Australia, man. It's crazy. But they are loving all this, and they're soaking up a lot of the American style barbecue. There's a lot of people beginning their businesses getting into barbecue, whether it's restaurants, whether it's a distribution company for rubs and sauces, whether it's teaching classes. A lot of those guys are emulating what we're doing in America. And it's really cool to see. The competition is getting tougher and tougher every time you go over there, because not only me, but other people are going over there teaching classes and spreading knowledge, spreading love. Louis Mueller was just there. Tuffy Stone's have been there. Harry Stu's been there. Big Mo's been there. There's been several people that have been there that have taught classes. The Shake and Bake guys, Tim and Brad from Shake and Bake and Getting Basted, they were there teaching class at Meat Stock. So a lot of education is there. Also, I mean, with YouTube and Facebook and anything, you can research competition style cooks and processes and all that and find information. The information is just so readily available now that anybody can cook like a championship barbecue or a cure. I have actually classes out that I filmed with BBQ Champs Academy, and all 4 of my meets and full competition classes. Me, Joey Smith, who won Houston Livestock, Mark Lambert from Sweet Spine of Mine, who's a 9-time world champion. Lee Hickle was the IBCA champion. There's several of us who I filmed with BBQ Champs Academy, and we have full competition classes out that people can buy. They can see exactly what they're doing. You know, the thing about these classes is the education is out there. The information is out there. You just have to do it. You have to apply it. You have to make it so. And people ask me all the time, why are you giving these people information? It's like, information is love. Information is learning. Information is a process, but everybody has to do it. You have to apply it. That's the hard part. The easy part is paying for the information and going to class and getting information. The hard part is doing it, you know?
Yeah.
The execution.
It's easy to watch a video. I mean, I do it all the time, and you know, it's different when you're actually cooking it, you know, than watching someone else. And it's crazy to think that all these people out in freaking Australia and all over the world are doing barbecue. Like, it's, what do you think makes competition barbecue so important, people who compete?
I mean, I can't speak for anybody else. I can speak what it is for me. And to me, it's more from getting together with my friends and family to drink some beer, to cook some meat, to having a good time, to now what barbecue competitions, when I love the competitions too. And I'll do maybe 10 to 12 a year, but really my focus is on growing my brand and classes. But I love the competitions. And to me, they are a way for me to practice my craft and my art. And what I do is I honestly, I don't like eating it as much as I do cooking it. I love the way, you know, there's these 6 judges in there that I have to give them the best I can be, and everything that I can do to make this piece of meat amazing for them. So to me, it gives me that chance or that opportunity to relax, to not work, to practice a craft and art, to paint a picture, to draw, to create music or whatever it is. It's my time to give these judges some amazing food and practice my craft, if you will. You know, to me, that's what it is.
Right. So as you have so much practice and experience in there, like, have you heard any myths about the barbecue industry on just production and working into your curriculum, I should say, or whatever your cook is?
Barbecue myths?
Yes.
Like, what's true, what's false, what's this, what's that?
Right.
You know, I mean, I teach a lot of classes, and I see a lot of people from across the world and across the country. You know, a lot of questions I get are several, and, you know, I see a lot of the same questions, you know. A lot are about the fat cap rendering and actually making the meat moister and wetter and all that kind of stuff, which that's just absolutely a scientific myth. You know, fat caps will not render and make the meat juicy. You know, the intramuscular fat will, but not extramuscular fat. The fat that's on the outside, that's not going to do that. It's just going to render. It's going to roll off. It's going to end up in the bottom of your smoker and end up being a job for you to clean up later. So a lot of fat cap myths. There's myths on if you're looking, you ain't cooking. I look all the time. I look every 20 minutes or so because I want to make sure. Mostly when I'm cooking comps, I'm cooking hot and fast. So every 20 or so minutes, I'm always like lifting the lid, taking a spin, and checking it out, see how it is. I look a lot when I cook, and that's just the process in me. What are some other myths?
Well, one that I see like commonly on TV is like the Arby's commercial saying, "We smoked our brisket for 20 hours." I don't think that's necessary.
20 hours. Ain't nobody got time for 20 hours.
Right?
Well, I mean, but here's the deal. I say this a lot in barbecue classes, and there's not one way to get amazing barbecue. There's a billion ways. You know, I tend to go hotter and faster, and I can get a tender product 4 hours, which somebody can get in X amount of hours, but there's not one way. That's a common myth right there, and I'm going to tell you that is barbecue is this is what it is, and that's what it is. That's a huge myth. No, it's not. There's a billion ways. Barbecue is whatever your family loves, whatever you enjoys, however you get the best product out of it. That's the best barbecue. It's not Texas style or Carolina style or California style or Arizona style or Kansas City, whatever it may be. Man, whatever style you do and your family loves, that is the best barbecue right there.
Exactly.
So the myth about whatever style is right, that's a huge myth. What else? What are some other myths?
I don't know, like
if you get better smoke if you wet your wood. That's
Yeah.
still around. That's
Yeah.
still a thing. I hear that still to this day.
Really, people are still doing that?
No, I really heard that. My uncle's like, "Why don't you wet your wood down?" I'm like, "Whoa,"
because I'm smoldering it, and if you smolder wood, you're gonna get a dirty fire that's opposed to a clean fire. That's why. But yeah, absolutely a myth. You don't need to soak your wood. A lot of people like to use like beer and wine and baths and all that kind of stuff. Whenever I use anything in a water bath or a spray bottle, it's usually going to be water. When meat loses moisture, it doesn't lose beer or wine or anything like that, or apple juice. It loses moisture, it loses water. Essence of life. So I use a lot of water when I spray. You can use all that stuff. I'm not saying you can't, but in the basic elements of cooking barbecue, man, just water, basic stuff is what you need.
Yeah, we used to use all that stuff, you name it. But I actually took your class. You guys just use water, and ever since that day, which wasn't long ago, but I've done a lot of cooks. I just use water, and I cannot tell the difference. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Yeah, it's not going to be a significant difference.
But yeah, there's a bunch out there that we can go on and on about that. But okay, so I'm a new pro competition cook. I've done a couple backyard cooks. I've even taken a little class. I'm doing my first competition. What are some tips you would give me that you maybe wish you would have learned back when you were first starting, that you could impart to me? What would you say?
Oh man. So some first timer tips for a barbecue team just coming out on the circuit. Number one is pace yourself, man. Booze can be your friend. It can be your enemy. If you come out there and have some drinks, that's awesome. But just have a good time. Talk to people, walk around, introduce yourself to teams. So a lot of these guys, we're all doing the same thing. We all like to cook meat in the parking lot and drink beer with our friends. So we have a similar we're already friends pretty much. Just talk to people, become part of the barbecue community, the barbecue family, because that's all what it is out there. We're all having a good time. So I would just say relax, have a good time, talk to people, and run your game plan. Number one, you have to have a plan going in. You have to be organized. You have to know what you're going to do. You have to know your turn-in times, and you have to plan accordingly. So run your game plan, have a plan, run it, be organized, and just be a cool cat. Go talk to people, have a good time, and don't stress about it. If you don't get calls, there's always another comp. There's always the next weekend. There's always another time,
Yeah, that's awesome. And also, my little tip is don't be scared to ask somebody if you forgot something.
Ask 100%. We tell people all the time, if there's new teams around us, hey, guys, come over. If you forgot something, I may not have it, but I may know my neighbor has it, and I know him. So just come and ask, and we'll track it down for you. That's what we do. I've forgotten several things several times, and I've helped several people several times. So it all works itself out,
What do you think the most common reason for people failing or giving up and just quitting? Like the competition circuit, you see that sometimes. And do you see that in your display classes? People, what do you think happens there?
I see people come in all the time, and I think people set themselves up for some expectation that maybe they didn't receive. Maybe they expected they did all this training at home and trimming and watch these videos and do these classes, and they expect to come out and win GC, and maybe they just got one call or didn't get a call at all, and that can be devastating sometimes to people who put a lot of that emotional effort into it, and time and energy and love and money. I mean, it can be hard for some people, but I think if you have an open mind about it and you have a realistic expectation of, first of all, let's just make this a hobby and let's have fun, and if we get called, it's a great time. You build yourself up for that, then it'll be a better outcome if you win, as opposed to thinking you're going to win and not.
Yeah.
There's so many teams out there who are putting in time and love and effort, and who make this a career, a fucking job. There's dudes out there doing 50 plus competitions a year. These dudes aren't messing around. These dudes have the game. These dudes got something down. Just some guy just out of the box thinks that he took a class and he's gonna, come out and do all that, man. I mean, you better open your eyes. These guys aren't messing around.
So basically, just pull yourself back up, get out there, because it's going to happen.
That's what you got to do. And either you got to suck it up and move on, or you fucking don't, and quit and go find a hot dog tournament or something. I mean, it's barbecue. We're cooking meat in the parking lot, crying out loud.
Yeah, I know a lot of teams did like kind of like you did, man. They started out, they didn't have a class, they didn't have, you know, hey, use this with this and this, and putting it all together. They just kind of figured it out, you know, and that takes years. I mean, sometimes for people, I know people who are killing it now, but it took a year or two to even get a call, you know.
Dude, it's still taking years. I mean, the flavors that I were hitting at and my profile that I was hitting at 3 years ago, 4 years ago, it's not hitting now. It's changing. And if you're not on top of that, the ball, if you're not changing, if you're with the times, if you're not out there continually trying to see what the judges want and do that in this barbecue hobby, I mean, then you're going to be left behind. I see it all too often with a lot of teams. And me being on the circuit here and there, I can see myself getting a little behind, but I'm always trying to continue to push myself to get better and make the best product I can. And even if I'm doing these backyard classes, I'm bringing a lot of the competition side into it. And I'm always learning. I'm always educating myself, and I'm always trying to get better, you know?
Yep. And the competition kind of within your area always kind of changes too. Whenever I noticed when there's a KCBS class within that summer, you just added 50 new judges into your judging pool, and it can change from one competition to the next.
15 new tongues that, you know, you have to retrain. And I used to tell people a lot, man. I mean, I guess it's smart, it's strategy, whatever it is. If you know judges that need to get their masters, so they need to cook with a team, I always say, hey, man, be the first to volunteer and have that judge come cook with you, because you're going to set the pace for what that judge should expect in that judging tent. And they should expect 9s and perfect, and you should give it to them. Don't give them 7s, don't give them 8s, give them perfect barbecue, so they know when they're sitting at that table that they expect perfect barbecue, perfect taste, perfect balance, perfect flavor. It's trimmed. You put time, you put love, you put heart, you put passion, put everything into the box. Not some dude who just came out there and threw a pulled pork in a box and was drinking all night or whatever. You know, you volunteer and you give them what they should expect in that tent as 9s. And I've done like 7 or 8 judges out here. Whenever they're out for a Masters, I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to show them what they should expect. And I think that's what competition is about. It's setting yourself apart and above the rest. You know, everybody can, a lot of people can cook great, amazing barbecue, but you have to be over the top. You have to be on that next level. And that comes with everything from the 3 categories: appearance, taste, tenderness, you know?
Yeah. I like that too. Like having judges come cook with you. I didn't know you can do this on KCBS. I don't know how you look at it, but something worth looking in. But you can sign up to be a team like that. So if they have someone in your area that needs to do that masterclass or is requested to work with you or with a team, you can get on a list there.
Yeah,
and
be on that list. Yeah. If you're a team, be on that list. You want to set the precedent of what your local judges want.
Because I can tell you, I started out as a judge, and now I'm a competition cook, and I've judged since being a competition cook, and since I've cooked, the whole ball game changed for me when I'm sitting down at that judging table. So,
100%. It opens you up your eyes, and you see the teams that put in the time and the love and the energy, and you see the ones that just throw some shit in the box.
Yep. So
that's competition barbecue right there.
That's
I mean,
right.
you got to be better than the best. Be better than everybody. You want to get a trophy.
And just stick it out. Yeah. Just got to stick it out and keep with it. It's something you want to do. You're not going to hit it out the gate first thing. So, you're going to go there, you're going to waste a lot of money, and you're not going to happen. But once you get that call, man, the
more you do at anything in life that you love and you want to get better at, the better you're going to get. The more you do, the better you get. And I tell that people in classes all the time. The more you trim chicken, the more chicken thighs you trim, the better you're going to get at doing it. You're going to be more efficient, and you're going to know exactly what to do every time. You know?
The 10,000 hour theory.
Absolutely. You put in the work, you put in the time, you're going to get better at anything.
So I have an off the wall question a little bit. So tell us something that's true that almost no one agrees with you on, that when it comes to barbecue in general, that you just believe, but no, or maybe there was a time where you're like, this is the way. And people are like, heck no, you're crazy. And maybe they came around and going, you know what? You're right. Like, like the first person that did a chicken thigh, that was sweet or something like that. Is there something like that you've done?
Oh, like a thing that I believe in that like a lot of people don't believe, like barbecue wise.
Yeah, barbecue wise.
Oh, how about this? Like barbecue wasn't invented in Texas. It was not.
Yeah, we actually went over that a couple podcasts ago.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's I believe that it was not invented in Texas. It wasn't invented in Memphis. It wasn't invented in Kansas City either. It wasn't invented in Mexico.
Do you know where it was?
I mean, it was invented by caveman who like chopped fucking a dinosaur foot and like fit into it. So this is fucking terrible. We need to heat it up.
In theory, that's kind of close.
Or a forest fire back in the BC era where like this animal got charred and this dude came through and found this charred animal and ate it and said, "Oh, that's fucking better than that raw shit I ate." That's where barbecue was invented, not Texas, not fucking Kansas City. Not a South. I mean, I don't know. That's what I believe.
Yeah. That caveman's like, this could use some Blues Hog.
Yeah.
Who got some rub?
Blues Hog does make everything better in competition barbecue. I did tell you that. You remember that from class, right?
Yeah.
That's true. You did say that.
I told you that. I mean, it's true. I love those guys. I mean, those guys are amazing guys. And barbecue, there's certain things true about barbecue and certain not. And one thing true about barbecue is Blues Hog makes everything better.
So let's since we're talking about Blues Hog and rubs and stuff like that, let's talk a little bit about your product line.
Absolutely, I appreciate that segue.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a bunch of your stuff. I've had it before, but I started using your recipes and stuff. And I got to tell you, dude, that's some unreal stuff, especially that Gold Star chicken rub, dude. I started putting that on everything. I put that on my turkey. The last one I did.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was delish. So you don't have a lot, but what you do is just unreal. So tell us a little bit about your stuff.
Yeah, man. My first product that I came out with, or my first line, was a American Royal pork rub, which is still out in the market. It's sold at Kroger's throughout the Midwest, several thousand locations. It's called American Royal Championship line of rubs, and I have a pork rub in that line. And then from that pork rub, I segued into my Loot and Booty branded everything rub. So basically that pork rub that I have in that American Royal Championship line is a variation of my everything rub, which really is on pork. That was the first rub that I came out with Old World spices. It's my pork rub, man. It goes on ribs, pork, anything pork. It's sweet, it's sugar, it has those barbecue notes. When I created that rub, I wanted something that tastes like barbecue chips. You know, I wanted barbecue flavor. And to me, you taste Lay's potato chips, and I was like barbecue. And so I wanted those notes in there. So you got those sweet notes, so the brown sugar. You got the hickory smoke powder, which give you that smoky flavor. And then you got all the salts and the paprikas and all the colors that go into it. But I wanted that flavor when I created everything rub. So to me, that's a barbecue rub. When you put it on it, it's going to taste. Whatever you put it on, it's going to taste like barbecue. We put it in popcorn, guacamole, you name it, man. We put everything rub on everything. And I named it everything specifically to be a versatile rub, to go on everything, to not be pigeonholed into something. The second rub you talked about, which was my Gold Star chicken rub, that was a variation of when I won chicken at the American Royal in 2014. I won first place in chicken in the Invitational with a perfect 180. So my Gold Star chicken rub was a variation of that rub that I was using. And that rub has done well for me over time. And not only me, but several other teams. It actually won first place seafood rub at the BBQA conference in the National Barbecue Association in 2018. And it really highlights poultry, turkey, seafood. I use it as a base layer on steak sometimes because it's really that salty, herby. It has those back end kick, and it has some citric powder in there. It really complements the flavor of all kinds of poultry and game. And then I have a beef rub called What's Your Beef? Salt, pepper, garlic, Worcestershire powder, beef-based powder, all beefy notes that accent everything from brisket to steak to burgers to tenderloin. I know Mudville Barbecue out of California, who GC'd the Invitational. They used my What's Your Beef rub on their award-winning American Royal brisket. It's helped a lot of teams out there, and it's helped me. win 3 first place briskets this year, and I just got first place in brisket at the Invitational in Sydney, Australia. So those are my 3 rubs. I have 3 sauces available that I'm working on Old World to distribute. I have an original sauce, a sweet heat, and a honey mustard, and then I have a pretzel line. My brown sugar hickory Luton Booty barbecue pretzels that Old World Spices help coordinate and co-pack for me and distribute. So, man, I've just been putting in work and on that line, and I've been working on a couple other things that may or may not come out, hopefully in 2020. We'll see what happens. It's just sometimes I feel like I got, 80 balloons in the air and 2 arms to pull them down and pop them with,
Nice. So I'm just curious, with being you're producing your own rubs and stuff. What's that like when you find out that somebody won a major with your rub? What's like, that has to be awesome, right?
Dude, I can't tell you the feeling that I get when I get emails when I'm at the American Royal and people stop by my tent and say, "Hey man, I use your rub and I just took first place in this, whatever it may be," and I get an email and I get, "Hey, I use your Gold Star and it's got first place. I'm a vet. Thanks for your service." To me, that's like, man, it's humbling,
Yeah.
The goodie bag you guys gave out had those pretzels in it, and I got one of my teammates here, Jared. They know how I like my pretzels,
and don't like your pretzels.
So you're a pretzel guy?
I love the pretzels. Are my number one favorite. So we're in Kanab, Utah, at a competition, and I wanted pretzels, and I walk in, and I think what are they called? Dots?
Yes.
Yes.
They were terrible.
No, they're not.
So they're terrible. Let's just stop terrible, right? So I go to the Luton Booty Burn Luton class in Arizona, and I have these flavored pretzels. I'm like, oh yeah, in the bag. So I open them up and I'm starting. I'm like, these are damn good. Like hell yeah. So I was super impressed by those. As a straight up, I like my pretzels Texas style. Just salt, bro. Just salt. Just give me some salt, man. Don't mess with my pretzel. But I ate that whole damn bag. Plus, you said your sister makes something too. She put that in there. Just go to the class for the goodie bag because it had freaking taffy or whatever in there. What is it called?
My wife's family is a Soretta candy factory in Glendale, Arizona, and they have this English toffee that they make, which is unbelievable.
Toffee, yeah.
Yeah, that English toffee is off the charts.
So that night for dinner, I had pretzels and toffee.
Right.
Ah, man,
Awesome.
You didn't have a good next day.
Right? Well, I don't know, man. I was full of brisket anyway. It could have been anything.
Right.
So BBQ Champs Academy, talk to me a little bit about that, because that's a newer thing. That's a online class you can take, and you can buy individual classes from anywhere from SEA guys to barbecue competition guys. And now you have a video up. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. It's an awesome video series, BBQ Champs Academy. It's actually BBQChamps.com. And I filmed a 4-part video series for KCBS competition cooking. My chicken, ribs, pork, and brisket, all 4 meats start to finish, from meat selection, trimming, injection, sauces, cooking process, times, temperatures, to putting it in the box, the finishing techniques, to everything. These classes are going to take the guy who's getting into barbecue and pretty much giving him world championship information on all 4 meats. So I went out and filmed all 4 of mine. We also filmed a 20 recipe backyard pitmaster class between me, Mark Lambert, Joey Smith, Lee Hickle, and Craig Sherry from Texas Pepper Jelly, all world champions. And that's $99 for 20 awesome recipes. And then the cool thing about these recipes is you have them forever. The videos, you can go back and rewatch the videos. They're in your library that you can always go back and see. I actually have an awesome special right now. If you're buying one of my videos and you use the code SMITH20, SMITH20, you can get 20% off any of my videos, including my all access video. So it's a great opportunity for that guy who is just looking to get into competition barbecue, and wants to be competitive, who wants to take it to the next level, who wants to not to go out and drink a few beers and hope till he gets the name called. This is a guy who wants to go out and like being competitive. These recipes are available for you. It's BBQChamps.com. If you use Myth20 with my code, you can get 20% off any of my videos. That's going to definitely take your competition to the next level. It will. From the out of the gate, it's guaranteed to give you that next level. You know, we're given information from everything that we are doing in competition barbecue, and you saw it in our class. You know, we give you everything. And
I took hella notes, man. I wrote everything down, and I'm going over those notes, and there's one thing I'm like, shit. wait, and there's no way. When does he do that rub thing? And I wrote it down, and there's no way I can just like look up because it's over. But if I bought a class, which is similar price to your live class, right?
Absolutely.
Then I can go back and look and say, hey, oh, okay, that's what it is. And that's big. That is the coolest part about them, is that you don't have to rely on your notes that you missed or you wrote down, you don't understand what you're trying to write. You go right back to that point and go, oh, that's it. And that cannot stress how important that is.
You have it in your library where you can watch one time, you can watch 10 times, you can watch it 1,000 times. It doesn't matter. You can go back, you can see every single step and watch exactly everything you do. And if there's something, like you said, you cook something and it's like, wait, I didn't get it. You can go back and watch the video and say, okay, maybe I missed this part or saw it. You have that in your video library, which you can continually watch forever.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know, and sometimes even when I go back and read my notes, I see something I never saw before. So, and if I was there, it would, I'm probably going to buy it. I took a class already. There's probably a chance I'm getting that because I enjoyed the class. So I would love to have it on. I'd love to have that always too, because it would help.
I'd love to pick that up.
And
a
lot of what we talk about in class, and you saw my class firsthand, so you saw a lot. I mean, there was recipes, but a lot of we talk about is like the science of barbecue and why things are happening, why we do things, as opposed to use a quarter tablespoon of gluten booty rub and a quarter tablespoon of smoking guns hot. You know, it was the process of barbecue, why we do something, and the technique to get you to that championship level. You know, you saw it firsthand, and that's what we teach in these videos.
Do you teach them to use disposable everything? Because that was my favorite part of the whole class.
Yeah, yes, disposable everything. I'm pretty sure I did talk about a lot of this.
Hashtag no dishes.
I got to bring my personality in the videos. So,
well, I'm all about that. Like Jared here does all my dishes. Oh, I like coming around dishes. I'm like, oh wait, hey guys, what's going on? I have to leave.
If I don't have anything that's non-disposable, I always bring 2 or 3 of it. That way I don't have to wash them there. I'll just literally throw them in a bag and throw them in the dishwasher when I get home.
No, man. If I can have disposable knives, I would do it. I want to throw away fucking everything.
Throw away your pit.
Just throw away your pit.
Disposable gateways.
Burn everything. Start fresh the next
day. Dude, invented a disposable freaking
smoker.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Crumble that bitch up, throw in the garbage, and throw a new one the next day. I'll do that.
Yeah.
So I took your class. You're a advocate of pellet grills, using them. You used it for literally everything but your brisket, but specifically chicken. So I'm in the market now to get one. I've got a big old Yoder, but I don't want to carry that with me. So I'm looking to get a pellet grill. Tell me about Green Mountain Grills. Why would I get a Green Mountain Grill to cook my chicken on, or in the competitions, or even my backyard? What makes them so special?
You know, I mean, I tell people in barbecue classes all the time, it's like every grill that you see on this floor, even no matter what store I'm at, every single grill, whether it's a Big Green Egg, a Komodo, an Offset, a good one, a Green Egg, a Green Mountain, they're all tools. Every single one of these is a tool. And if you learn how to use that tool, you learn how to use it efficiently and manage airflow. You learn how to increase and decrease temperature when you want to. You learn the hot spots, the cold spots. You know, every single fucking thing about that tool, then you can cook amazing world championship meat. The Green Mountain Grill just gives a lot of people consistency. It gives people the push button. dial it in at the push of a button, and I call it Push Button Pitmaster. Until a lot of people in my class say, man, this is Push Button Pitmaster right here. You hit the button, it's going to do it. The computer's going to do the work. The Green Mountain Grill gives you consistency. In competition barbecue, what we strive for a lot is consistency. We want a consistent product. We want consistent meat. We want consistent temps. We want consistent flavors. We want consistency. Green Mountain Grills will give you that consistency at the push of a button. The analytics that we have in the science of the airflow with the fan and the auger system, the PID controller, you're going to get amazing flavor. You're going to get amazing smoke flavor. Chicken is something in competition barbecue where you need a consistent temperature to cook at to get a nice bite through chicken skin, nice flavor, render the fat and all that. And Green Mountain Grills does that for you. A lot of pellet grills will do that for you. A lot of grills will do that for you. But the price point that we have on Green Mountain Grills, where you can get the Daniel Boone Wi-Fi Prime at right now, $6.99 is the retail price. But right now, I think they're $5.99. At that price point, where you can be winning awards and championships with consistent product without spending $1,000 plus, then why do you need to do that? I can do that with a product that I can get for $5.99, which gives me that consistent product, which gives me app capability to control it from my phone, which gives me worry-free cooking at the push of a button. I can get that at $5.99 as opposed to $1,000, so I'm going to do it all day. That's why I'm going to buy a GMG.
Yeah, they're cool looking too. Like I can see cool into it, man. They're just neat looking.
And we have one of the best customer services we have the best customer service department in the industry right now. We understand that there's moving parts. Things are going to break. We have the best customer service. We're going to take care of our customers. We're going to make sure our customers come first. Our customers who want to barbecue. We're a barbecue company. We're not a shareholder company. We're a barbecue company. And that's what we want. We want to make sure our customers know that.
And that's crazy, man. How cool is it for you to like work for like with a company like Green Mountain Grills and have your own spices, rubs and sauces and travel the world and do barbecue, man?
Dude, I never even thought, 10 years ago, coming up on 11 years ago when I started this, that I would even be where I am at right now. It took a whole nother spin when 2014, when the opportunity came for me to put my own line out with the American Royal and that competition. And then, with Green Mountain Grills, partnering with them, it just became a whole nother endeavor and a whole nother life, a whole nother adventure. It allows me to grow my brand and work with people like Green Mountain Grills and Jason Baker and his family, who are amazing people, who are just loving and supportive of barbecue, who are real amazing people. To be able to get to do that and to travel is, man, it's a dream.
What would you do if you weren't doing this? Like, let's say your dream job besides barbecue, what would it be?
If I wasn't in barbecue doing this, I mean, at this point, I'd have to be a rock star, man. I'd be like a drummer or a fucking guitar player. I mean, I'd have to be on stage. I'd have to be on doing something, man. I have to be people looking at me, listening to what I say, which is so important, apparently, to somebody. But yeah, I would have to be a fucking rock star.
Nice. So what's on the horizon for Loot and Booty?
The fucking world, man. Everything. I'm going to do more classes. My first quarter is already booked with classes for Green Mountain Grill Backyard Pitmaster classes. I'll be back at Melbourne Meat Stock in March, competing, teaching another class at Char Butcher Shop in Melbourne. We have 3 barbecue festivals coming up next year. The Denver Barbecue Festival, Q in the Lou, and then we're adding the Kansas City Barbecue Festival, and we're going to have the Green Mountain Grill stage, a quick cut stage on each one of them, which I'll be emceeing and doing videos with all the awesome pit masters. I got more classes lined up. I'll probably do another 20 classes. I have 3 or 4 competitions lined up in the next quarter that I'm going to do. I'm continuing to grow this line, grow this brand, continue to kick ass, and fucking spread some barbecue love, man.
Nice.
That's what I'm going to do.
Well, cool, man. We appreciate you coming on the podcast. We love your stuff. Like I said, that class, you were one of the first people I wanted to get on here, but I saw that you're busy, so I tried to talk to you the right moment. Apparently, you're always busy, so you always got something going on.
Man. That's that barbecue hustle, man. You got to put in work, put in the grind. And I tell people all the time. I get reached out to people who have rubs and sauces, and they say, "What do you do?" And I said, "You hustle. That's what you do. You knock on doors. You be on podcasts. You grind. You make yourself known. If they don't know you, they don't know you. You got to put in the work, and you got to put in the time, man."
Well, cool, man. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me on, guys.
All right. We'll see you. Okay. Thanks to Sterling Smith from Loot and Booty for joining us. That was a cool interview. Like I said, I took his class. It was a real good class. Highly recommend. If you can't go down to Arizona to take his class or wherever it is, go to BBQ Champs Academy and just get it. It's worth it. You can learn a ton from those guys. In fact, I was on that website, and there's a lot. There's Robbie Royals on that. There's a lot of good competition SCA stuff. So yeah, go there and check it out. It's maybe something you want to do instead of, because I'm telling you, like, I've gone to Kansas City, now Arizona, and they cost a lot of money for the classes, but you got to get out there. You got to stay in a hotel,
right?
You know,
miss out on restaurants.
Well, that's true. The restaurants were pretty dang cool, but Arizona people were it was hot. All right. Yeah. So you can save all that just by getting the class.
Right.
All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in for another episode. Go ahead.
One other thing before we sign off here. We tried it tonight, but it didn't work, but we are going to be posting on our Facebook when we're going to be recording, and we're going to have a time slot there for you guys to ask questions, and we can get them on air to the person we're interviewing. So make sure you take advantage of that. And it's mostly going to be on Facebook. So go follow the Pitmasters on Facebook.
Yep. And again, you go to our website, the Pitmasters. Just when we're very angry, we're the Pissed Masters. Anyway, you can go to thepitmasters.com and check it out. Sign up for the classes coming up in Lehigh, the Barbecue Pit Stop on December 14th at 7 p.m. That is in Utah only. So you guys, the local guys, sign up again. We will be having a lot of backyard competitions this summer, next summer. It's going to be exciting time. So get ahead of that and take the class and learn what you can to kind of dominate and win yourself some money and maybe even a free Traeger, depending on the competition. Yeah. Again, guys, listen to us on iTunes, download and subscribe. Let us know what you're thinking. Go to Facebook, Instagram at the Pitmasters Podcast. You can do Stitcher. You can do all that stuff. Again, thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.